Hello fellow sim racers and welcome to another Assetto Corsa Competizione GT4 pack preview. This is, I think, video 3 of 11 that I'm doing, these race videos previewing each of the cars separately in race conditions. But I've also made a proper review video which I implore you to check out if you want to learn anything actually useful. These videos are pretty much just a chance to get you guys to see the cars in racing conditions as early as possible. In this video, I'm driving the Audi R8 GT4. Nearly said GT3 there, and I'm going to make that mistake a lot. It's a lot like the GT3 version, a bit less power, a lot less downforce, and cold tyres to start with, which I apologise for mentioning in every one of these videos, but it's such an important factor of this GT3 pack as we try and avoid going 3 wide into turn 1. Yeah, the cold tyres are such a big facet of how this racing plays out and how the cars look in the early laps that I'm just going to have to mention it every time. Spending the early part of the race behind this KTM crossbow is a good place to be. It's an interesting looking car, a bit of a spaceship. One of my favourites, certainly to look at, if not to drive. But if you want to know more about that, you'll have to watch the video on the KTM or the main video. See me getting some pretty gnarly oversteer as I ask far too much of the rear tyres. Again, pretty common early on in the races in these particular cars. We're a couple of PSI below where we need to be on the tyres at the moment. Not helped by the fact that I'm running an evening race here as well, so temperatures a little bit cooler than they should be, but by God does it look glorious. Car pretty understeery at the moment. I'm going to try and guide it over this inside curb here in the Schumacher S. Couldn't get away with it, but you can see just how aggressive you can be with these cars, particularly over the curbs. Again, if you watch some of the other videos, I think that'll be pretty obvious by now. Good defensive driving by the AI, and in fact skipping over the curb there stopped me getting the switchback, which is what I was going for. Big fan of the Camaro. Sounds amazing in real life. You definitely, if you get a chance to go and see some of the European GT4 series, then this is a car you will very much know is there. Are we going to try and trust the AI to go side by side through the NGK chicane? I think we are. As you can see, monstering the curbs, not too much of a big deal. Let's try and get a nice clean run through that chicane later on in the race for you guys, so you can just see how much you can straight line it. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's 4th gear. I've only done a couple of practice laps in this car at this track so far, so I am far from knowing the limits yet, but that's what this is all about, really. It's finding them. Try not to turn in too early and hit the back of the BMW M4. Another car that's actually surprisingly loud in real life. It's got such a really raspy exhaust sound, which really carries across a racing venue. I saw these for the first time, this generation at least, at Brands Hatch in 2018. And if you're down in the sort of bowl area between Paddock Hill and Druids, just the sound of that car in particular and the Camaro just really carries. KTM Crossbow is another car that just sounds really, well, it's just loud. It's got a very, I mean, it's that kind of waspy sound as you'd expect from that particular configuration, but boy, does it sound good. Those three together in particular, great sounding cars. Let's send it down into the hairpin. We've not got the move done early enough. This is going to compromise our exit, and in fact, good traction from the AI there. Good bit of defensive driving and keeping it in. Let's try and see if we can skip over the curb here, which is definitely the quickest way to go in these GT4 cars. Unfortunately, I can't really demonstrate that because there's a BMW in the way.
Car on the right.
Oh, outbraked ourselves a little bit, got away with it. He's still alongside. In fact, generally, have to praise the driving of the AI here. Doing a great job of keeping my exuberance in check, that's for sure. Running the AI at 98%, as I've probably mentioned through the other videos if you've seen them. Like, oh wow, he's braking early for the chicane, wow. Can we send it into the final corner? Nope, Yeah, running the AI at 98% so I can have a bit of a race for you guys. I'd normally do 100%, just I think the AI behaves a little bit better at max setting, but it's better to just be able to churn through the field a bit, show you guys the different cars. Gives me more to talk about. Unfortunately, it does mean that they brake a little bit earlier than I'd like, so I'm being caught out a little bit by the early braking of this BMW. So I'm going to have to make a bit of a concerted effort to get past, I think. Tyres fully up to pressure now. 26.5 is the new optimum. So pretty happy. I say the new optimum. The optimum for GT4. Pretty happy with that. Okay, we're going to get a track cut penalty for that. I just have to accept that. Oh, no time gain. I disagree. Okay, we've got to line ourselves up for a run down into the Dunlop hairpin. Oh, AI so slow on the apex there. That's nearly caught me out. But we're nice and close. We'll move out early. I wouldn't do it this early for someone online. Let the car understeer a little bit, discourage him from running around the outside like he did last time. Now we can go and talk about the Ginetta, which is a car that I thought I'd really enjoy driving. It's certainly a car that the mod versions in Assetto Corsa I've really, really liked, but he's going defensive early. Just drift across in the braking zone. Don't you worry about it, son. Typical Yorkshire company Ginetta. I think typical Yorkshire attitude there, which is do my own thing. I can say that, my whole family's from Yorkshire. This is where I find out Ginetta aren't actually from Yorkshire and I'm just talking rubbish and not for the first time. Right, AI brakes early here as I get a weird lag spike. Not sure where that's come from. As you can see, these cars are so comfortable over the curbs. I've not really talked about the Audi so far in this. I think we've been talking about the other cars, which is very silly. I'm enjoying the Audi a lot. It's a pig on the cold tyres early on, perhaps more so than many of the other cars in the pack, but I don't know, I think I said in the main video that one of the great things about these GT4s is that they sort of expose some of the underlying driving feel of the road car more so than the GT3s. The GT3s obviously have quite a lot of downforce and, you know, they perhaps end up, well, they feel like downforce cars a lot of the time, and I think that masks some of the inherent feeling of the car as we've gone side by side with this Ginetta for about 5 corners now. It's a great bit of racing. It's not done either. So with the mid-engine car like the Audi, you end up with just lots of turning. You know, it's really confident on turning, feels great, feels amazing on the power as well as you'd get with any mid-engine car, but you've got more problems with lift-off oversteer than you would have in the GT3 version, which, you know, particularly in the mid and high-speed corners, the aerodynamics are doing a lot of the work. Now, of course, you can use that lift-off oversteer as in the slow corners in particular, like I sort of did there, just to help get the car rotated. But you really have to think about it a bit more. It's not as bad as, say, a traditional Porsche where, you know, you so much as breathe off the throttle and it's going to try and kill you. But it's definitely, it's more of a useful sort of mechanical thing than it really is in the GT3 version. And I think that kind of situation occurs through a lot of these cars. You know, the front engine cars do feel more like front engine cars than the GT3s, and rear engines the same. Again, not that we've got too many of those to go for it. Carried a little bit too much speed into the first part of the chicane there and ended up sacrificing the second, which is a little bit of a shame, but wanted to show you guys what I could really do. But I was bleating on about car engine positions. Really exciting stuff. Big fan of the McLaren. That's a video I'm looking forward to making, but I'm recording these in alphabetical order so I don't completely lose track of what's going on. So it's going to be a little while yet. I think, as I said, this is 3 of 11. The McLaren's 9 of 11 or something. We've got a little while to go. Back up to the back of the spaceship Caterham now. Caterham? KTM. Very easy to make that mistake, especially if, like me, you haven't slept since February. trying to get turned in a bit too early for that corner, I think. Lap time's tumbling though, so I'm obviously learning my way around. And perhaps a few fewer bits of traffic along the way, as we've made our way up to 5th now from 15th at the start. Maybe I could push the AI another notch higher. Mind you, I did take a load of those in the on the run down to the first corner, didn't I? So maybe it's not too bad. Have a little look, but I think we're a little bit too far back to really do anything sensible with the KTM. On the power far too early. That's a mistake. That will give me a little bit more room into the Schumacher S, where I know I'm a huge amount quicker than the AI, because, well, I'm not afraid to climb over the curbs, and it is probably closed up a bit too early, and I have to try and go around the outside here, which is always interesting. Try and avoid contact. Job's a good one. Got a little bit of snap oversteer as I lifted off a bit abruptly there. Sailed off into the gravel on the exit. You know, just good GT4 stuff. Wow, we've already run out of race. I've been rabbiting on for 10 minutes. So I hope you've enjoyed this particular one, guys. Stick around for the other 10 race videos if you want to give them a watch. Otherwise, please do watch the proper video on the main channel. I've spent a lot of time and effort on it, and I'm very proud of all the work that's gone into it. And yeah, I guess that just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching, guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.